What's going on YouTube? Steven, the Salon Guy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and demoing, look at this thing, the RevAir dryer. So I'm ready to go. Let's get started. First things first, I want you all to know this is not a sponsored video, and they were nice enough to send this to me, and there is a link to where you can purchase this dryer in the description. So it's an affiliate link. Yes, I'll get a nice little small piece of this, but I just want to be transparent with you guys. It's not a sponsored video, and this honestly is the first time I'm trying this. As a stylist, you know, there's tools like this all over the place, whether it's to curl your hair, to straighten your hair, for this, for that. I wish I'd make one for growing hair. But anyway, this is going to be my honest review of this. You know, coming from someone who's worked basically throughout my whole career with two things, a blow dryer and a brush. And nowadays, there's a lot of tools that make your hair, make the process easier when it comes to drying your hair. So this is going to be my honest, first time ever review on this awesome tool. And let's get right into it. So they were nice enough to send, first of all, it came in this box. It's a fairly heavy box, but it came in this. So it was really easy just to pull out, which I found, you know, pretty cool, because I was like, this is heavy. How am I going to get this out? So it comes in this awesome bag, and you know, it comes with some quick setup stuff, some strategies, some guides, and they sent me a nice little note. Steven, we are so excited to have you on board because you are so handsome, charming, and great on camera. Thank you. Oh, never mind, I'm kidding. So no, that was a nice little thank you note. For those of you who know my humor, I apologize in advance. But anyway, so let's open this up and see what we got. All right, so everything was packaged very nicely. This is definitely, you know, I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm just like, what are we building here? But this is something revolutionary. So, you know, just keep in mind that this is designed for consumer use. So all of you people who are going to be having this in their bathrooms, just keep in mind, you know, you've got this right here and obviously a bunch of the other tools that are in the attachment. So, you know, just want to give you guys a heads up. You know, if you're a salon professional and you just want to, you know, purchase this for your own use at your station, you know, again, letting you know this does take up a little bit of space here, but I'm excited to try it out. All right, so as I've opened the package and the boxes, this is what we're left with. Really awesome. They have some clips here, which are really cool, hair clips. There's a nice spray bottle for water. And then it's got all the other tools like the wand itself, the hose, which is the attachment that goes into the air base unit, and there's a reversible filter. And this is a wand holder where you can, you know, put the wand in. So you've got quite a bit of, you know, some tools here in front of you. This is a lot going on here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually follow the directions here, which wish me luck on that one. But I'm going to follow the directions here and put this all together, and then we'll come back and I'll be ready to use it. Okay, so definitely a little bit of a project, nothing too crazy of just setting this up. Again, this is a fairly large unit. I think you're going to be surprised of the size of this when you get it. But, you know, I'm very curious to try it out. So what I did is actually attached, you know, the wand here to this, the base, okay, the base right here, which is the important thing right here, and then the filter. So it's like they all kind of locked in very easily. It's all set to go. Here we have the dials here. And, you know, so I was talking to them and we were discussing kind of some techniques and what is this and what is that. And the dial here basically is showing kind of more of the speed settings, okay? It's all based off of the texture of your hair, all right? The texture, and it goes from, you know, 0 all the way to 6, all right? So what I've been told is like the curlier, the kinkier, thicker your hair is, you know, this is representing the tension. So as a stylist, I'm thinking, how hard am I pulling on the hair? If I have somebody whose hair is really thick, super curly, I'm really going to be pulling and creating some tension. So whereas to someone who's got super fine hair, I'm going to still give that tension, but not nearly as much with someone who's got thick, curly, kinky hair. So these are really important from what I've been told when it comes to blow drying your hair. And if you're using something that is a little bit too strong, say you're at like a 6 on like, fine kind of super straight hair, what happened was it won't get tangled in this, but what will happen is it may cause some knots on the end because it's just kind of spinning the hair around. So it's got, this is really sucking the hair in. It's blow drying the hair the way the pattern of the hair growth is, which is very interesting. So it's providing, a much quicker blow drying time, and it's a lot healthier for the hair. So that's what the whole kind of philosophy behind this whole thing is. Like, keep it, safe for your hair, healthy for your hair, not damage it, and also get the job done a lot quicker. So let's get a mannequin head and let's start the testing process. I'm all set up now and ready to go. I have a mannequin here with very kind of kinky, really curly hair, and we're gonna put this RevAir to the test. And so let's just see here in the directions. So begin with a 3" by 3" section at the scalp. If the hair is very thick or has a lot of volume, you want to start with a slightly smaller section as not to inhibit the airflow. You want to get the air really going through the wand. So me as a stylist, I'm never really taking huge sections anyway, so yeah, about 3 inches is actually, that's even larger than I would even do as a stylist. I'd probably maybe 2 inches or so, just because again, I'm so used to working on condensed kind of smaller sections to make sure I'm getting the job done efficiently. And once you start it, they're saying to hold it at the scalp, and it's not gonna burn the scalp. It's again the reverse sucking the air, so it's not gonna, there's nothing to tangle it. There's nothing that's gonna cause any heat damage or any sort of, from what I've been told. And so we're gonna see in a second here. It actually will shut down. The dryer will turn off if there's too much hair, and it's just not, it's gonna shut down, which I think is kind of cool. Let us start and see what we got. Let us take a look at what we have here. Now, first impressions, it could be that this mannequin head is just, hasn't really had much of a haircut at all. The ends are fairly dry and just destroyed. So I'm looking at, how much did it actually dry the section, how to leave the hair. Very, very interesting. I was actually afraid to bring the device right to the scalp, but it literally is blowing out no heat whatsoever. So it's 100% accurate. It's blowing out no heat. It's sucking the heat in, or so that's what it's doing. It's reverse, so it's drying the hair coming downwards, which is the way the hair grows. And then for the very, very front here, this is probably the one piece that stood out the most for me. And as you can see, where the hair is closest to the scalp, I mean, that's pretty smooth and shiny looking. So I have to say I'm pretty impressed with that. It is a heavy device. I can tell you right now, this whole unit is very, very heavy. So there's situations where, you're up here like this, you're definitely going to create some sort of tension. So you probably want to end up, holding it this way. But then again, even if it's holding it up here, this got some weight to it. So, but at the same time, it does help and prevent from you having to kind of put your arm in awkward position, constantly moving it, which could create some strain and stuff on your shoulders and your arms. So you lock this in, you sit there, and it dries. Now, as far as the time, will it dry it on this type of hair in like 10 seconds? It's when it says up to 90 seconds or so, you got to wait some time. You got to wait some time for this. But again, the result is having the hair nice and smooth here. So, I'm pretty impressed. So let's try a different type of hair texture. Well, I've got to say, this hair feels incredible. Whoa. Wow, I am actually really, really surprised. So let's run the fingers through it here. Let's bring the hair back and let's see what we got going on over here. Look at that. Extremely shiny, extremely silky soft, and there's no product in this whatsoever. The hair feels very, very conditioned. I mean, like silk, like silk. And I gotta tell you, I mean, would I go back in with maybe like a smoothing iron or anything? Probably not. I mean, you can, but I think the whole point of this tool is that it leaves your hair in such good condition that it allows you for that extra buffering with the heat so that you can go back on if you need to. And I guess that's where the protection comes in and the way the hair is being dried. So I'm impressed, but let's do one more mannequin test and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so let us see what we got here. Once again, I'm pretty impressed. This is silky smooth hair. Silky smooth hair. No product whatsoever. And as you can see here, guys, I mean, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So now, let's go over the breakdown and is it worth it? So I just wanted to say that no mannequins were hurt in the making of this video, but let's break down my thoughts and let's go over what we have here. So right off the bat, it's like a jet engine, this thing. All right, you've got from just the space. I mean, look at this. This is like, here's my chest. I mean, I'm somewhat stocky dude. Like this is a pretty pretty bulky device there. This itself is fairly heavy, I would say, as compared to like your typical blow dryer. I mean, and plus with the hose, so you got a little weight in through here. This is a really cool tool, I'll be honest with you, but this has to almost be at the edge of like your sink or something, because the way that this locks in or just sits in this nice little space here for it, you know, if you were to put this in the middle of your, say, where the sink is, you know, this hose is going to make it kind of pop off. So it's got to be close to an edge. But also you'd want that anyway because you want quick accessibility to it. So, you know, I think it's actually pretty cool, and it does literally slide right there and it stays there, which is awesome. Let's see, what else? The clips are a nice addition because these are actually really nice. They're like the claw. You know, these things are really actually pretty good clips. So you get a set of those. Now, the settings. Let's talk about the settings. Now, as a stylist, I wanted to push this to the max to see what I can get out of it, okay? I kept this on 7, the number 7 setting the whole time, which is the strongest amount of pull. Now, I don't know myself if I'm actually pulling more than this device right here, but I do know that, you know, on some of these hair types that we did today, I'm pulling, and the client, you know, they're moving their head, so there's some tension there, definitely. I had it on full heat on the setting number 2, all right, which is right here. I had it on 2 and the highest. So I pushed this thing to the max, and I have to tell you, not once did the hair get tangled. I didn't feel any sort of damage whatsoever. And what's interesting is when you pull the hair out, you feel a little heat for a split second on the hair, but it's almost like there's no heat from it. There's nothing damaging your hair at all. There's no sort of, so it almost feels like, not cool, but just nothing. There's no heat. It's just normal hair, which I found really interesting. Whereas compared to a typical blow dryer, I mean, you're really blow drying that hair at a pretty high temperature, and when you release it, you know, the hair is still pretty warm. This, I didn't feel that, which I found very unique. Now, the technique itself, okay, I think this is where some people may have a challenge. As a stylist, you know, I'm not used to holding something like this heavy. I mean, look, I feel like a firefighter right now. Look at this. You know, hey, let me put out that fire over there for you. But no, but seriously, I mean, you know, as a consumer, for the technique itself, now let me just bring over this mannequin again, and let me just show you guys something right here since I have this. Now, if you're going to take the hair and you're going to keep this totally flat like this, all right, say it's in the hair, and you're gonna hold it down. The problem is you're not gonna be able to get directly on the scalp. That's my biggest challenge with this. That's why I was holding it this way to get right onto the scalp. And I can assure you, 100% promise from me that there was no heat whatsoever on the scalp. No breakage. You don't have to worry about, you know, burning somebody. And that was pleasant, because usually when you have something like this set on someone's head, something bad's probably gonna happen, all right? But nothing happened with this, which I found very unique. So I think in order to really get the maximum results from this, to really get that nice smooth section, you really need to hold it parallel, you know, to the scalp and the way the hair grows, all right, even way up here. That's why in the front, I was holding this thing up this way, all right, because of the fact that you're gonna get that perfect section. And again, you don't want the section to be bigger or wider than this hole right into here, because or else it's gonna bunch the hair up and it's just not gonna blow dry the hair efficiently. So even when I'm blow drying someone's hair, I make sure that the section isn't larger than the actual width of the brush. Now, another tip is, since there's no sort of brush on this device, meaning if you just take your hair when it's wet and you put that in there, it could cause, I could see where it could cause some tangles. So what I did is each section, I actually brushed it through so that there were no tangles, and then I went in. That's my biggest kind of tip for somebody who's trying to use this thing. Again, if you just take your hair from soaking wet, you don't brush out any knots or anything, and you start to use this, I could see where it may cause a problem, you know? But I had no sort of, you know, no knots, no real, you know, yanking. I mean, this is pretty interesting. The only thing I'd say was the challenge, which even wasn't that bad a challenge, was just simply the weight and, you know, the bulk of this device. To wrap this up, who really is this device good for? Guys like myself, okay? If I'm looking to like kind of dust off the, you know, the head up in through here, I can do this a little bit, or, you know, my scalp's a little dry, the dead skin cells, I can get rid of them this way. I'm kidding. People who have all different hair types, it seems. So fine hair, curly hair, wavy hair, thick hair. I mean, it looks like it's gonna work for everybody. I can imagine though, with someone with like really fine hair and like not a whole lot of density, that this could dry really fast. I can see that drying literally 15 seconds on each section. And you know, timing-wise, I'd say with the last two mannequins, I'd say 30 seconds or so was the right time. Whereas the one before, the kinky curly, we're talking like a minute or so, and probably even longer, you know. But I guess that is it, guys. Again, this isn't a sponsored video. I don't really do sponsored videos. I just, you know, I wanted to really test this out and give you my honest opinion. You know, would I use this as a stylist? I mean, I don't see why not, because, you know, it does make things a little more efficient. This is good for somebody who really is pretty lazy, wants to get the job done quickly, doesn't want to damage their hair when they're blow drying it, or their traditional methods of, you know, maybe singeing their hair. You know, I know it's hard being a client or a consumer trying to match up the blow dryer with the brush. I mean, obviously, you know, you guys have figured it out by now. But this takes, I'd say, away most of the effort, almost all the effort, to be honest with you. So yeah, guys. And also, one last thing. I was wondering where the air went. The air all blows out through the back here. So if you are going to have this stationary on like the countertop, whatever it is, just make sure that this part is not facing something that literally like is going to knock down like, you know, pictures off the wall or something, because it's got some pretty powerful pushback. So you just want to make sure that, you know, it's blowing in kind of the open air with maybe in front of a towel rack or something like that, or you can have it on the floor if you wanted to, you know, but this does blow out some pretty, you know, high pressure air. So that's another thing to take note of. Well, once again, guys, if you are interested in purchasing this, you want to give it a shot, one cool thing is I know they're offering 20% off this weekend for Memorial Day. So that's good timing from posting this video. And the link in the description below, you know, is there if you want to purchase something like this. Again, and I just found this really interesting because there's more and more tools like this popping up left and right. And I wanted to give this a shot and see what the hype is about. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for more videos with The Salon Guy.